broadcast nightly from 7:30 to 9 p.m. on Radio Thailand Chiang Mai.
Hi, welcome to Relax Time Radio.
Good evening.
You're here with,
Paul.
that's me, Paul, and Man.
That's me.
And you're over there with some colourful friends.
Yeah.
And this is because it's Children's Day tomorrow, isn't it, I think?
Is it?
Yes.
That makes sense.
Yes. So,
Well, welcome everyone.
Our guest studio is decorated with all sorts of furry, fluffy friends.
Yeah. We have who's this? Someone from Toy Story here, and a huge Hello Kitty, and can't even see them all, but apparently, we have. Is it Elmo or who is that one?
Yeah, is that it's one? It's definitely
Someone from the Sesame Street, right?
Sesame Street, yeah. I think it's
Isn't that
Elmo. I think
cute?
it's Elmo. Yeah, very
Look
cute.
at me and all of them.
I know. You're still the yellowest, but only just by a little bit.
Right? Yeah. That always works. I also brought my pineapple pen, just in case you can't see me.
That's nice. Yeah, that fits in. That's part of the collection.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Look at that.
Where's
wait,
my
Hello
editor?
Kitty.
Okay, so what are we doing tonight? We're on Relax Time Radio, and it's Friday, so it's our travel, social impact, and entrepreneurship show.
That's right.
Today we're going to be talking about social impact itself.
Yeah.
What it is, and what we can do to make the world a better place.
Yeah. 'Cause wouldn't that be nice?
It definitely would. So what am I'm looking at our video. We're live streaming now on YouTube, but I need to rename it before I share it on our Facebook page. So what I think we should do is maybe take a break, start the show with Biba Doobie as we usually do.
Yes.
And then we'll post our YouTube live stream onto the Facebook page.
Yeah.
And if you'd like to send us a question or your ideas about social impact in the world, or just request a song,
Leave them on Facebook.
Facebook,
Yeah.
easiest way.
Yeah.
Relax Time Radio.
That's
That's
right.
our Facebook page.
And now we're gonna spacing out first.
Now we're just going to space out while I sort out the name of our video. Okay. Biba Doobie, as usual.
Yay.
Feeling shit again. Haven't left my bed. Never brush my hair. And if you look me in the eyes, you'll see Extraterrestrial beings probably sitting tight, waiting to blow our brains away. Through the Milky Way, past the morning sun, Pluto is light years away, and all our worries, they're all gone. So quit being so negative. It's fine, it's only a temporary fix. You say I don't write happy songs, so I guess this is the first one. Through the Milky Way, past the morning sun, Pluto is light years away, and all our worries, they're all gone.
One, two, three, four.
Never sleep cause we night owls. Roam the streets when the lights out. Give you all that you deserve. Sometimes I wish we could reverse. VVS in your Prada. Spin it till I'm done another. Red on your new bottoms. I can't seem to get you out of. Do what I'm liking. It's feeling so righteous. How did you know I wouldn't fight this? Baby, go spend it all. Let's catch a flight then. Get the itis. Hoping someday I don't wake up. I'll pay up. It's like I'm buying more time. So keep grooving and don't stop. What you doing? I'm buying more time. Cause I need it. Overdose of that. Tell me you're mine. Ooh, ooh, you're mine. Ooh, ooh, you're mine. Ooh, ooh, you're mine. Tell me you're mine. Ooh, ooh, you're mine. Ooh, ooh, you're mine. Ooh, ooh, you're mine. I can't get off of love. I can't get off a drug. I get the panicking when she go vanishing. Ain't no sun in the shade room. She said broke bitches, they be late soon. No, I like it when you make rules. Tell me more, I can pay you. You do what I'm liking. It's feeling so righteous. How did you know I wouldn't fight this? Baby, go spend it all. Let's catch a flight then. Get the itis. Hoping someday I don't wake up. I pay up. It's like I'm buying more time. So keep grooving and don't stop. What you doing? I'm buying more time. Cause I need it. Overdose of that. And tell me you're mine. Ooh, ooh, you're mine. Ooh, ooh, you're mine. Ooh, ooh, you're mine. And tell me you're mine. Ooh, ooh, you're mine. Ooh, ooh, you're mine. Ooh, ooh, you're mine. Tell me you're fast cars ride on my heart. Max card shop, you ain't shy, no. will know. Diamond and gold. The lights, all that will know. The lights, diamond and gold. The vice, all that you know. The ice, diamond and gold. The vice, all that you know. The lights, all that will know.
You've been listening to Relax Time Radio on Radio Thailand Chiang Mai.
Watch our live stream on YouTube and don't forget to subscribe to our channel.
That was a relaxing intro to our show. The last song there was Buying Time by Lucky Day. Okay. Social impact. What can we do to make the world a better place?
That's right.
Where shall we start?
What is social impact for you?
Well, I was like researching a little bit and also thinking about it. But the first thing that I thought of is just, you know, when on a personal level, if you change your behavior, right? If you stop, for example, like throwing litter, or you stop using something, or you switch from, imagine you switch from a diesel car to an electric car or something. It's not just that you've made that switch personally, but other people see what you've done, right?
Yeah.
Especially if it's something visible, and especially, you know, it's not like you go around preaching, but you pass it on. If people ask you questions, you talk about it. That's sort of social impact on a personal
Walk
level.
the talk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then there, like I thought about, you know, different levels that you could like think of it on. You know, you can think of it on an individual level, a group level. So families, friends, groups of people, whatever. And then on an organizational level is perhaps where it's most, you know, most thought of, or that's where it's maybe most applied. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
What would you say?
I think for me, there are also like different versions. I think I really love what you said about walking the talk. I think it's really important. For me, it has a lot to do, if we're looking at the word impact, what can we actually change? And the social part plays a big role as in what can I give to people without expecting anything back, for example. So what can I do even in a daily life that would be either impacting others positively, helping others, giving others opportunities that they may not have, and also, and I know that's always a very critical topic, but using my privilege that I'm born with to helping others without this type of privilege. So how can I maybe share my privilege in a way?
Yeah, got you.
So, and I like to apply that to the business part too. So how can corporations, for example, share the benefits that they get from their work? Obviously, that's usually profit, but it's also like if we look at these type of Instagram influencers, for example, right? They have a huge platform, and therefore they have also a very big opportunity to share messages and to reach a lot of people, like say millions of people sometimes, right? So how could they use this platform responsibly in order to make an impact?
I was like looking into, and I didn't know this, but I knew that social impact theory wasn't like particularly old because I hadn't always heard it. But I was reading that it was sort of created. Social impact theory was created by psychologist Bibb Latané. Maybe that's how you pronounce the name. Not sure. In the 1980s.
Oh, is it only that young?
Yeah, right. Only that young, like early 1980s.
Like as young as I am.
But yeah, I'm a bit older. But so I guess, and that was, that's just the origin of it. I think probably it didn't become sort of commonplace language for organizations, especially sort of, let's say, ethical or organizations with an ethical sort of plan outlook. But but when we talk about social impact, when you analyze it from a social psychological perspective, you could think of it negatively or positively, right?
Yeah.
But really, what people are talking about when they want to apply social impact is the positive side.
Right. Right.
If you were doing something, trying to influence people socially, psychologically, but it was negative, we wouldn't be calling that social impact, because this
That's
is
right.
kind of
Yeah.
we'd be calling it something
And
else.
I think it's really about equality a lot. So trying to help people, again, without certain opportunities, to bring them forward and help them to, I think, help them especially with the lack of basics that they don't have in, as it could be education, it could be just the privilege of where you're born and what you're born into, basically, right? It could be skin color, it could be religion, whatever it is that sets you a little bit further back. Social impact is designed to help those who are further set back to bring to the start line of those with the highest privilege, like you and me and our white friends. So I think it has a lot to do with kind of trying to, when I say equal, I think we both agree that we are not wanting to be all the same.
Yeah.
But having the same start point in life, or at least all, like, the opportunities should be out there for everyone.
Right.
So.
Yeah, I got you. So, well, like, what can you think of some examples, maybe from your past experience working life, or just doesn't have to be working life, but what can you think of? Look, because when you look at it from let's say organizations, whether it's non-governmental or just businesses that want to have social enterprise businesses or whatever, usually when an organization is thinking about social impact, they're sort of trying to design something, aren't they?
Yeah.
They want to design something that they intend to have a positive social impact.
Right.
So in any case, everything we do has an impact, but that this is specifically you think about it, you strategize, and you say, if we do this or we do that,
right,
we think it will have a positive impact on this community or these people or et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah. Okay, let me give you a few examples. I'm not trying to say names, but it might slip out.
Yeah, okay.
So I know one very specific example. For example, there is a company in Vietnam who specifically founded a restaurant.
Oh, I know this. I've been there, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
In Hanoi, right?
Yes.
So, and this restaurant actually not only, but I think, I don't want to say something wrong, but I believe it was 85% of the people who are hired, they are either disabled in either a physical or a mental way. And so depending on...
because I was thinking of somewhere that there was an American Vietnamese guy, I believe, Australian Vietnamese, and he sort of founded this restaurant, and he was working with particularly homeless children.
So that might be a different version of it.
Okay.
So the version that I know in Hanoi works with
people with disabilities.
I believe so, yeah.
Okay.
Or maybe you're right. Maybe I just mix it up. Well, I know two different ones. Anyways,
it could be both by now, because I went there a long time ago. I went there maybe 16 years ago or something like that. So
he won a lot of awards and everything,
right?
right?
Right.
So anyway, so it could be the homeless children, and so they go through a education program, and then they can work in this restaurant.
That's right.
And and so there's also a bakery, and I think the bakery has the disabled.
Okay.
So maybe I just mix it up. Sorry. So then there is and we probably all know this, or maybe many of us know this. There is a big company who particularly was founded to produce shoes, and for every pair of shoes you buy, they go to a Latin American country and give a pair of shoes to homeless children.
Yeah,
So
right.
That's the one.
Yeah.
Then there is an amazing company in Bali that takes out trash of the ocean, and with this trash they recycle it. I think they can recycle about 95% of it and make swimsuits with it, and rash guards and stuff. Amazing. And there's different forms of these type of companies all over the world.
Yeah.
So these are a lot of social impact businesses, and so there could be businesses, but it could be also non-profits. But I recognize that particularly social businesses, as in literally being a business to make profit for a social impact reason.
Mm-hmm.
When I researched all of this like a few years back, I recognized that many of them started actually in Asia. So this whole idea started in Asia, and I think I found this very interesting, particularly because I found, especially in Southeast Asia, there are many entrepreneurs and business owners, and they are all very entrepreneurial. And I loved how also the law was actually, in Vietnam, for example, they have a law that you can found social businesses there. They have a particular law for that.
Right.
And I think that's amazing, because not in any or not in every country. There are actually not many countries right now. I think
Well, I know that
2 years back it was like
there's
10 or
definitely
15.
in Thailand. I wouldn't say too much because I don't know enough, but I know in Thailand there's definitely government policy looking at this, and there, for example, in Chiang Mai there's an organization, social enterprise organization, but in what sense it's sort of codified in law? Yeah, I couldn't say.
Right.
Yeah.
And so that's the thing, right? So even if the government already is able to have laws to allow, because a social business is basically a non-profit for profit, right?
Yeah. Well, we
And I
can
love
debate.
it.
We can. Yeah, we could talk about this because yeah, because there are some gray areas. You know, you can have. I'm going to look it up in a second, but I think there's an organization that allows companies to join. So an ordinary company, a for-profit ordinary company, can join this organization, but to join, they have to meet certain standards, and the standards are all based around things like social impact and sustainability and,
Right.
and this kind of thing.
But the difference with a social business is that they also can receive donations, which makes them
okay.
different from a company. So a social business is basically the merge of a non-for-profit
Right.
that can make profit, which is what you would want, right?
Yeah.
Because you actually you would love as a non-profit to be able to make profit in order to give more back to the people that you, or animals or whatever you're working with, right? The impact.
Right.
You wanna
But,
have.
you know, don't you think that, wouldn't you say that any business, small businesses, any business can have a social impact policy? Like, just for example, maybe I'm wrong here, because maybe it's just an environmental policy, but for example, many of the cafes or businesses of my friends in Chiang Mai, not just of my friends, all over the town, many of them sort of switched from having plastic straws to metal or bamboo, or they've stopped using this or that, and you know this is a social impact activity,
Yes.
isn't it? I mean,
Yeah, but they can't take donations for it.
no, true.
Right.
Yeah.
So, and that's the beauty of like social enterprises or social businesses.
Well, in fact, in fact, sometimes they have a discount. Like I went somewhere the other day, was near the Chiang Mai Arboretum, and if you bring your own cup, and this is something else that many cafes around town, they discount
Yeah.
5 baht.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so I was obviously saying something which slipped off my mind.
You were talking about like the law and they could take certain companies could take donations in Vietnam. Well,
Yeah, I think we were talking about examples, but so I think what you would want to do is, because if you do have the opportunity as a social business to make profit right? Which you cannot do as a nonprofit, obviously. But that means you can grow this business faster and scale in order to help more.
Right.
And I think this is a very important part of why social businesses and social enterprises should be more. And because you were saying like other corporations, companies, and everything, they can have social impact policies. Yeah, absolutely. So there, for example, is an online company where you can give out microloans to people in, third world countries or developing countries. And it's amazing because what happens is they're interest-free loans, and you basically give the loan. It starts at like $25. But this helps those people to sometimes like build houses or install toilets, or sometimes it's like even life-changing and life-saving measurements that they take out loans for, and they can pay it back over, I think it's over the time of a year. So if I'd imagine I would need to pay back $25 over time of a year, you can even choose at by the end of the year, you can say you take the money back, or you give this money that you've gotten back from this one person to another person as a microloan again.
Mm-hmm.
And I love this platform. I'm not sure if I'm allowed to say the name, but it's not so they basically are just facilitating that. So it's not they're a non-profit themselves.
I suppose like in crowdfunding, you've also seen there's a lot of crowdfunding campaigns that are basically appeals. Well, charitable. Yeah. Let's just think. So some crowdfunding platforms are specifically designed around donating for good causes rather than for profit. I mean, those platforms, they're taking their profit and whatever. But I suppose you could.
So this platform I was talking about is specifically designed to give out microloans, and you can get it back. So the person who takes out the loan will always pay it back, which I think is beautiful, because that means that the person takes over personal responsibility and ownership for it, right? And they can actually choose how much money they need as a microloan. And I've seen, so some of my friends have this as a social impact policy for their own businesses. And they have they help people start their own, food business, or they helped save a house after a hurricane went through and stuff like that. And it's really beautiful. And they got the money back, but they then reinvested into another microloan instead of getting it paid out.
Right. So that's interesting, because that's basically you're saying that there if someone wants to specifically start a social impact project, there are sort of funding options available to them that are not available to ordinary companies, and this is okay. So that's one. Actually, that's sort of part of an answer to part 2 of our talk, isn't it? Yeah. Because we're going to look at what.
We can just switch around.
We can just switch around, right?
Yeah. So how do we get started, right? So this is one of them. So there are platforms that facilitate that option. So this platform I know is specifically very popular in Asia, but also in some African regions. But I do know about very amazing African organizations that help basically through mobile payment, because it's a very
I'd read about this.
A very popular option, because it's the only safe option they have in some countries. So you can give out also microloans, but it's like you pay that through mobile payments to the person, and you can either, I think you can fund as an investment kind of thing, or you can microloan. So you can choose that. And then I would need to check properly how it exactly works. But this particular organization is to actually help start businesses, and they also give education to the people who started businesses. So they not just only give the microloan, but this organization themselves helps them throughout the time of microloaning to actually get the business up and running and educate them on how they need to do that and whatever it is. And I think that's a really amazing thing too.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah, interesting. I wanted to maybe just look back a bit from, because I was trying to learn about it, you know, I
Yeah.
was like researching a little bit. So we're talking about, let's say organizations or companies, nonprofits with specific things that they want to do.
Mm-hmm.
But there's also what you would call sort of peripheral effect or effects that are more, let's say viral effects. So in other words, you might be a person, a group, an organization, and you might want to do a certain project. But the purpose of your project is not necessarily just the simple, okay, this is what we're going to do or make or our activity, but you also part of your social impact is, can you spread this idea,
Right.
isn't it,
Yeah.
to other people, and
Yes.
so that they may do something on their own,
Right.
or change their behavior, or
Yeah.
take up a new activity, or
Yeah.
start their own,
Yeah.
take a microloan, start their own project,
Yeah.
this kind of thing. And
Create the ripple
that-
effect.
that's right. So this is like a big part of social impact
Yeah.
theory and thinking, isn't
Yeah,
it?
totally. And I think it's super important that I think in society we learn to not talk about the things that we do good for other people and to just shy away and not brag or whatever, and you're like arrogant, whatever. But I say go out and talk whatever you do good. Don't be like, oh, today I gave $5 to this homeless person. Fine, okay, just do it.
But you've got to be careful, though, haven't you? Because you've got to be really careful how you don't want to be shoving ideas down people's throats. That's
Right.
for sure.
So you want to create stories, right? So
Yeah.
it's very important that you don't tell only like, oh, as I just said, like today I gave $5 to the homeless person, right? Just go and do it, right? But it's about like the stories. How did you impact people? Maybe they can tell the stories about it if they want to. Don't force them, obviously. But
Yeah.
it's really about like, how did you change lives, and why did you do it? Like, what's your reasoning behind
I
it?
have such mixed feelings about this, and it might just be like my personality, but yeah, because I've run into a lot of people who have a problem, let's say, with veganism, and often it's because of what they feel is I'm sorry to be picking on like
No, fine.
I don't mean to it's just a thing that's come to mind.
Yeah.
I totally agree with veganism. I'm trying to become like step by step become vegetarian myself at first, and I agree with the principles and the ethics behind veganism. But many people, so many people feel that vegans have maybe sort of tried to spread their message in too aggressive a way or the wrong way.
Right.
They might be wrong. I mean, because if you have like say, hey, look at what we're doing to animals, etc., 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 they could say, well, I'm just showing you the truth.
Yeah.
But you see my point, kind of. There's a
So two things, right? So I have a lot of vegan friends. When I'm going out with them eating, I don't eat meat out of respect. For me, that's a thing of social impact. So they impacted me enough for me to be respectful to them. Because I don't need to trigger anyone.
Yeah.
But then I do have vegan friends that say like, I don't care what you do because it's your choice. Do whatever you want, right? But I do have friends that if I only would have honey on my muesli, they would definitely show me how I just killed a swarm of bees. So, but here's the thing, right? The thing is like, how do I perceive and react to it? I can watch the YouTube video of how this swarm of bees just got killed by my spoon of honey. And I can be triggered, I can be reactive, I can scream, or I can just understand where they're coming from, right? And can be like, yeah, maybe they're sitting here watching me eating this, whatever, doing this, and they really feel the pain, right? Like I feel the pain that in front of my house, just a whole jungle was killed. And I just sit there and I could cry because they're 40-year-old trees, and I'm like, this is horrendous.
yeah.
So it's the same, right? Like, people say to me, like, this is a little bit too much that you cry about trees. And I'm like, no, it's not.
No. I can see that
You know?
because, like, for example, we live in a world where
There are no trees.
we live in a world where there are concepts of human rights, even if they're not always respected. Animal rights are sort of like being fought for, but basically many elements of nature, beings in nature, have no or little protection, right?
Right.
So you could see why some people would say, well, hey, I'm going to try and protect.
Right.
Yeah.
So I think what I'm saying is like, if we would just be a little bit more compassionate for everyone, we could get over this 2 minutes YouTube video. But anyways, what
Yeah.
I'm trying to say is like, what if the vegans would not spread this message? Would you become vegetarian? Would you care about these animals? Would you even know about it? Like how many CO2 gases are going into our clouds because of the animals that are killed every single day? Would you know it? Maybe not.
Well, yeah, good point. I don't know.
And so the reason why we know this currently is because so many vegans and Greta are standing up and being like, this is wrong. Does it annoy us? Sure. At times. Can we choose to scroll on or not listen or just,
Yeah.
take
No.
it and leave it? Yes, we can.
I'm sure some people got really annoyed when civil rights were being fought for, and you're always going to annoy somebody if you want things to change. Absolutely.
See, I talked about this jungle thing, and I was called a racist and sexist for talking about trees. You will always annoy someone, so I say share the message.
Okay, got you.
So
Share the
maybe not because you
No,
want
I agree.
maybe not. So I think it's the intention, right? If your intention is to get validation and applause for what you do, please leave it. Don't do it. Like, go away. But if your intention is to actually spread the message and change something in the world,
I think I was just
go and annoy everyone.
Oh, right. Well, I think I was just saying be psychologically clever, because that's one of the things that's in social impact.
Yeah.
That's it's. I've been reading a little bit about it. If you could, like, for example, if you could change people's minds better and faster and spread a message faster without overtly telling them,
Right.
then you would do that. It just you'd have to know.
Right. I tell
whether-
you one thing. You will never change someone's mind unless they want to change it.
It's like Inception, isn't it? I
Yeah.
agree. I've
So-
often thought about that. It's like it's
So
a
the thing
wonderful
is
idea.
like,
Yeah,
you
they have to believe it's
probably-
their own idea.
yeah.
Of
And you
course.
probably always thought it. Maybe as a kid you looked at this pig, and just, or maybe you were asking, maybe you don't remember, maybe you do, where's this chicken coming from on my plate, And then now you've seen it here because you can see it here on the market where it comes from and how this is going down. And then you think like, man, wow, really?
That's a good point. That's basically, we're forgetting that these things have been hidden.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because in the UK and in Germany, you go into the supermarket and it looks quite nice, in this shiny LED light. Doesn't it look nice? There's chicken there. But you go here on the market, I'm not sure how many Westerners walk into the market and don't run out of it immediately. You know what I mean? I'm used to it. I grew up halfway on farms. So as a 5-year-old, I already saw a chicken being, prepared.
Yeah.
So this is just, I'm saying like, if your intention is right, share your message. And you will annoy anyways people.
Okay, great. Let's regather
Do
ourselves.
some music.
Let's do some music and regroup
Yeah.
ourselves. Okay. This is I'm going to play it On the Back of Your Neck by Cien Fu.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was probably on the back of some necks now.
Okay.
Good.
Um,
Bring it on.
send us your thoughts on our topic. Send us a song request. We're not playing too many songs. We're talking too much, but
No, we don't.
not too much. We're talking a lot.
And it's good.
And it's good. All right.
Bring it on. The music.
Relax Time Radio Facebook page. If you wanted to call, it would be 053-276-793. I'm pressing the wrong button. Here's some music.
Fighting through the crowd and my heart is beating loud in the woods. Sky is full of dark clouds, breathing black CO2. Wolf is howling at the moon, lightning in the little spoon.
mountain we can't climb. A single thread is weaker, can't take the street at all. But enough of us come together and we're unbreakable. We can do together what's impossible alone. Oh, no, we got so much waiting there for us. It's obvious, you and me. It's better when it's we. Don't face it on your own. 'Cause we're something better. We can face it on. When we're together, you and me are so much more. Yes, we. La 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 la. Oh, yes, we got so much waiting there for us. It's obvious that you and me now we can be together. What's impossible alone? Now we got so much waiting there for us. It's obvious that you and me is better when it's we. Yes, we. Oh, yeah, yeah. It's better when it's we. Oh, baby, oh, yeah. Oh, no. See, one can build a shelter. It's only bricks and stone. Two can make something better. Make a house of home. When one can't take it over, that wall that seems so high, standing on my shoulder. Maybe we can touch the sky. One can build a shelter. It's only bricks and stone. Two can make something better. Make a house of home. One can make it over. That wall that seems so high, standing on my shoulder. We can touch the sky. One can build a shelter. It's only bricks and stone. Two can make something better. Make a house of home. And one can make it over. And wall that seems so high, standing on my shoulder. We can touch the sky. One can build a shelter. It's only bricks and stone. Two can make something better. Make a house or home. When one can make it over, that wall that seems so high, standing on my shoulder, and we can touch the sky. Yeah.
You've been listening to Relax Time Radio on Radio Thailand Chiang Mai.
Watch our live stream on YouTube and don't forget to subscribe to our channel.
We're back. That last song was Mama's Gun with We. Before that, On the Back of Your Neck by Sien Fu. I think we played On the Back of Your Neck last week as well. I might have slipped up on that one. Twice, 2 weeks in a row.
No, we didn't.
Didn't we?
No.
Oh.
I would have remembered the video though.
Okay, all right, there you go. Okay, so back to our topic, social impact and what we can do.
Yeah.
So getting started, or we've talked a little bit, for example, about microloans. But what were you thinking of when you're thinking of getting started? Like in terms of what individuals or organizations or
both, because I think like a lot of people think like, oh, I need to be a millionaire to get started, or I need to have a lot of money or whatever it is, right? Because a lot of people think social impact or impacting others or helping others needs money, which is not the case. There are a lot of opportunities where you can help with time and skills, right? So this could be anything from volunteering time to organizations who already work for a cause that you love. So this could be animal shelters. This could be writing for specific magazines or for any organization really that is doing any work, environmental work. You can literally, you don't even have to do official work. You can literally just go out once a week, once a month, whatever, take a big bag and gloves and pick up trash.
Yeah.
Right? Wherever you live in the world,
Well-
I promise you there will be enough to pick up.
Yeah, no, because a while, maybe a month or two ago, there was this big story. It hit the local papers that a group of foreigners had been spotted picking up trash, and it became this sort of viral story. Well,
Yeah.
because it does, like it can do this
Yeah.
kind of thing. And I
Yeah.
remember that there was a similar story that happened when there was like a big haze problem last year, and there were some like Thai students giving out masks for free at an intersection.
Yeah.
And I think like you never can tell on this. Sometimes this kind of thing goes viral, sometimes it doesn't. That's
Yeah.
the act in itself has social impact.
Right.
Occasionally it'll go viral,
Yeah.
and then it'll have much bigger impact. But
See, for example, in India and Mumbai, there was a guy. So there was a beach in Mumbai. Literally is a city beach, right? And you couldn't see a grain of sand anymore because it was so full of trash. So there was a guy who said, like, well, I live here. This is my home. I do want to be able to use this beach. So he would start to go every single day before work in the morning and started clean up the whole beach. 2 hours. And mind you, I think the beach was like a stretch of 3 kilometers or whatever. But he just started every single day in the morning, an hour or two before work. And then suddenly people would just see him, so they would join him. And I think within 3 months, they would clean up the whole stretch of 3 kilometers of beach together, like hundreds of people every single day in the morning. They would go and clean it up. And there is now a clean beach, sand, and a lot of things have changed. Like there's even wildlife coming back and whatever. Like there's so much things that have changed for Mumbai there, for example, right?
yeah.
And this went viral also,
Yeah,
obviously.
there are quite a few amazing stories like that.
Yeah.
Like a guy in India, planted a forest more or less on his own.
Yeah.
Huge forest.
Crazy. I
Yeah.
heard that one. It was like in Kerala, I think,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah, so this is the thing, right? So these are things you can do in private. So if you do have a business or a company or an organization, or you happen to work in one and you're one of the decision makers, why don't you take this to the next meeting and say like, hey, we have a budget for, maybe it's for donations or charities, or maybe you don't have a budget yet. Why don't you allocate one, right? It doesn't have to be millions or hundreds of thousands, but why don't you allocate a small budget for now?
Well, like you said, it could just be time. It might cost the
Yeah.
company money, but if you were to say, for example, because there have been some examples of this where, for example, companies would give their employees time off if they wanted to go and do something
Yeah.
for a social reason,
Yeah.
a social environmental
Yeah.
reason.
So-
For example, that's what I'm thinking of. It was the climate strikes, isn't it? So some companies
Right.
were allowing their employees to take, say, Friday afternoon off
Mm-hmm.
because they wanted to support the cause for the climate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's also like, what you can also do is like giving your employees a paid day per month to go and volunteer their time to a different charity. Obviously, it needs to be tracked and whatever,
Yeah.
but this is something you can do too, which is a great thing, because however many employees you have, but this could spread widely, right?
Yeah.
And then, there's so much we can do. Again, it doesn't have to be a lot. Like, everyone can do something. And even if it's just, as you said, walking the talk, right? Use metal straws, use like reusable cups. Don't take plastic bags anymore. Like now we have this plastic bag ban. Luckily, go stop asking for bags then, Like,
Yeah.
even if they're available somewhere.
And also, like, friends in Chiang Mai, well, people have come together in Chiang Mai to do tree planting projects, and that makes the whole thing, easier. You can gather groups of friends and make it kind of fun as
Yeah.
well, and get that way, if you're inviting friends and
Yeah.
joining with other people, you're sort of spreading the message more. You can get more actual work done.
Right.
You can sort of, have a much greater chance of getting a message out on social media, etc.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, for example, there are regular meetings, right, for nomads or expats, whatever. Why not using one of them if anyways like 50 or 100 people come for every meeting and turn one of them into a social impact activity?
Yeah. Yeah, right. These things like spread slowly, don't they? Because I was watching a podcast, I won't name it, but yeah, and I noticed that on this podcast, like many other radio interviews, TV interviews, you could always see like the plastic bottles of water and someone brought it up. One guest finally brought it up, and the guy said, "Yeah, we've been thinking about changing it. We'll do it." So, like you said, to speak, I was just sort of being a bit of devil's advocate, mentioning the issue of vegans and people complaining about but the truth is, you're right. You have to speak up.
Yeah.
Because someone speaks up and then someone else says, it's been in the back of my mind, but it never came, you know what I mean? We never did anything about it.
Right.
Maybe now they will.
And you also, in this case, like I have been the devil's advocate a lot of times, but you wanna, if you're really wanting to change things, no matter what it is, if it's something in your own life, if it's social impact, no matter, if you want to change something, you need to be comfortable with the fact that there will be someone who will not like you changing things, because people do not like change, right? And so the fact that you're trying to change rules, change society's comfort zone, change, like the plastic bottles on the table. Why can you not use a glass? Why can you not drink out of the glass that is very properly cleaned? You do not need a straw whatsoever. And if though, you can use one of the different reusable ones. There's like so many things. You will have people that will always push back. And if it's only for the reason to push back because they have nothing else to do in their lives
and
out of this.
It's like, it is interesting because all of this stuff spreads. For example, just a year ago in Chiang Mai, it was quite hard, or maybe 2 years, it was quite hard to buy the metal straws, etc. Now it's really, really easy.
Yeah.
And
they're beautiful.
Yeah, well, but obviously, though, some companies that make those straws haven't thought carefully, maybe, because I went to the market and I saw that they're selling them, but they wrapped in quite a lot of plastic. So that's kind of defeating the object. Well, no, not everywhere. Many places selling them, not like that. But I'm just saying that it's a sort of one of those effects. It's been the campaign or the idea has spread so successfully that some people just thought we can make money out of it, and they've missed the point about the environment. Yeah. Overall, it's still a good thing because, this thing comes wrapped in plastic. It wasn't necessary, but at least it's just one piece of plastic, whereas the straw can be used many times.
Right.
But still, someone's obviously like missed the point there.
Completely. And that's actually funny. So I know what you're referring to, and I make a point of not buying the ones in plastic. I then go to the local companies that might be 10 or 20 baht more per straw, but I make the point of buying those, and they're not wrapped in plastic.
Yeah. Well, we're all sometimes good, sometimes bad. I'm afraid that, like I did, because it was late, I did once buy some of those ones wrapped in plastic. But I also do, as I'll mention later, sometimes do some things to save the plastic as well. So
yeah, we're going step by step. It's not a one turnaround at all. But no. I started quite a while back, and it's just a thing. Like I see that, and I'm like, really? Like, as you said, right? They're totally missing the point. So, for example, bamboo straws. I know my friend has a company, and they're all from Karen people who are making these bamboo straws themselves. So I make a point to only buy them there because I know I can contribute to that,
Yeah, the recent plastic bags ban in Thailand, that's actually created a conversation. Because I speak Thai, I hear people talking about it everywhere. Yeah. Generally positively, but I do have a funny... Oh, good. Yeah. No, generally really positively. Everybody agrees. It's a great thing, really. There was a funny incident at this place where I go to buy fruit, though, because basically the fruit sellers, selling chopped fruit.
Mhm.
I think we've mentioned this before. I mean, they sort of, it's more difficult for them, I agree, to find an alternative to sell the chopped fruit without plastic. It's definitely more difficult, and it requires sort of cooperation from customers. Now, I take my fruit boxes,
Right.
Tupperware sealable
Yeah.
fruit boxes.
Yeah.
We've mentioned before on previous show.
Yeah.
It's much better. The fruit lasts longer.
Yeah.
And you take it home, put it in the fridge, and
Right.
whatever. So that's how I do it, and I take a bag to carry that stuff in. Someone saw me the other day doing this, another customer, and he was like laughing and saying to this vendor, "You can give me my fruit double plastic bagged," and he was making a joke because they had said something else about the plastic bag span, but to me it's like hugely positive. Because even though he was probably just feeling a little bit bad maybe, and sort of like made the jokes defensively.
Right.
But the conversation's like out there, so
Right,
it's a hugely
right.
positive like thing.
Yeah. Maybe I always think like that banana leaves are a really great alternative. Might not work for all cut fruit,
Yeah, right.
but it does, because it does work for some of them, right?
It works for a lot of
but-
food, that's for sure. Yeah.
Yeah. But then I always think like, shouldn't this be another opportunity for fruit sellers, for example, to sell reusable boxes, for example, right?
Yeah, good point.
Just make another like part of your business.
Right.
Sell those reusable things.
Yeah. Well, they're definitely being sold all around town, so I feel like it's coming, because it used to be hard to find them, and
Right.
now they're in.
But why not selling them where you need them the most?
True.
With cut fruit.
I 100% agree.
You know.
Now it's on me to mention this to the
Please.
fruit seller.
Yeah.
But then I would feel really preachy. That's the problem with me, you see.
No, but the thing.
You should
no.
you should sell boxes so people don't have to.
No. The way is like, how do you do this? The question is like, hey, why don't you sell boxes like this and make more money?
Mm-hmm.
And then if you're like, oh my
Incentivize.
god, this is so helpful, I want to make money,
Yeah. Got you.
right?
Right.
It's not like tell them what to do. It's asking them, do you want to make more money? You could make more money with these boxes.
I
Right?
got you. Yeah.
Yeah, I think we got a little bit away from it, but it's definitely. I'm really excited to see what's going to change and where I can buy reusable things from now on.
Yeah, and it's definitely getting easier, and like even at Christmas we had a gift exchange, and someone gave away one of the bintos, the food carriers.
Yeah. I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a good gift.
Yeah.
It's a great
definitely.
gift. Yeah. Okay. So, since we've only got like 25 minutes left, should we just take maybe one more musical break and then come back and wrap things up?
Yep.
With our top tips of the
Agree.
night, etc.
Uh-huh.
Okay. Here we go then. This is Sunflower Beam with I Was a Fool. Hope you're enjoying our conversation. We'll be back with the final part of social impact and how we can make the world a better place after
Yay.
this.
I was getting lost in your
was a fool who lost his head. I'm just a child, can't keep his word. I was a fool who lost his head. I'm just a child, can't keep his word. I was a fool who lost his head. I'm just a child, can't keep his word. I was a fool who lost his head. I'm just a child who can't keep his word. Keep his word.
Hey, won't you call me back? 'Cause I've been waiting for a text back. It hurts my brain. This chick who plays bass, she plays bass, she plays bass. Nothing matters 'cause we're both in space. Pretty shit, we could never date. She plays bass, she plays bass. Yes, we're both stuck in the same boat. The world doesn't seem to get us though. You're just stuck in space, just playing your bass. She plays bass, she plays bass. Nothing matters 'cause we're both in space. Pretty shit, we could never date. She plays bass, she plays bass. She plays bass, she plays bass. Nothing matters 'cause we're both in space. How I wish we could just date, so you could teach me how to be more like you. Wish I was more like you. Wish I was more like you. Wish I was more like you.
You've been listening to Relax Time Radio on Radio Thailand Chiang Mai.
Watch our live stream on YouTube and don't forget to subscribe to our channel.
Hey, that was our one and only favorite, Biba Doobie, with a song called She Plays Bass. I liked it.
Yeah.
Okay. What's the actual impact we can make? So how far can it go? These changes, small and large, that we make in social impact. How big an effect?
Right. So I think my favorite story about that is from two girls in Indonesia. I think it was Bali. They were 9 and 10 years old. They were doing a sitting and eating strike for 10 days. Not eating and sitting in front of their school or housing, I'm not quite sure. Asking the government to ban plastic bags. And that was, I believe it was 3 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And it literally started the whole conversation. I mean, the conversation was there a little bit before, but it sparked the whole ripple effect of conversations about this whole plastic waste of like straws and bags and whatever in Southeast Asia.
Yeah.
And now, 3 years later, they have a plastic bag ban in Bali. They have it here in Thailand. I know that Vietnam is trying to push. I'm not sure how far they got so far, but like we're getting there, and the ripple effect is big so far. And they sparked the conversation because they are also the ones who started one of the companies turning the trash into swimsuits later,
Right.
but as a social business, like as a social business more or less. And so if a 9 and a 10-year-old can sit down and say like, nope, this is my home, I don't want to swim through 10 meters of layers of trash in the ocean, do something about it. Like, what can you and me do? You know, like we have a big voice too, and a loud voice if we want to.
Yeah.
If we get over the fear of annoying someone, I don't care that much because I do annoy people a lot anyways. So I got over that one. So
It comes down to like, yeah, you're wearing yellow. We know you're prepared to get in people's faces.
can you read it? Spice up your life.
Spice up your life. Okay.
So yeah, I'm totally prepared to get in people's faces, and I do a lot for the things that are important to me, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So to the question, what impact can we have? Also, Greta Thunberg. I know a lot of people hate her because she's in people's faces. But imagine, she's a 16-year-old with Asperger's syndrome. She sat in front of her school for 3 weeks, not attending school. Yes, this is a privilege that she has because some people don't have even school. Totally a privilege. Let's not talk about this. But that she's choosing to do though, and then take it to the next level and creates this whole movement all over the world for people to strike on a Friday. Tell me one other 16-year-old who got that far.
Yeah, I'm
in
I
the
support
past
her.
10
What
years
can I
at
say?
least.
And yeah, of course she has her detractors, but her supporters are the kind of people that her supporters are people I believe in more. You know, I mean, the Dalai Lama supports her.
Mm-hmm.
Some of my like favorite UK journalists, George Monbiot, they made this film together. You know, he's just been, So the people, you ask yourself who's against her and why, and
Right.
there are some valid points because when you do something that has such an impact, ends up having such an impact, then inevitably like people will try and latch on and use you for their own purposes. Sometimes there will be good purposes, sometimes not, and all sorts of stuff. But she can't control all of that. It's impossible. In any case.
And also,
it's
again,
bigger
there
than
will
just
always be nosers, haters, blah, 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 all this type.
It's obviously bigger than just her. There's a lot of
Yeah.
people that have been pushing for this for a long time. It's just that she was able to, in her way, have a outsized impact.
And to be very honest, first of all, I like very much that she is a person with Asperger's for the reason of that she is able to speak very straightforward
Yeah,
without
right.
taking the backlash because she
That's right.
literally doesn't care.
Mm.
And that's a great ability to have in her position, right? She doesn't care.
Right.
Like, tell her anything and she's like, so what, you know? Like, oh, my mom had to finish her career, so what?
Mm.
The environment is more important. Great. That's fantastic for her, right? Like, what we think about it doesn't matter in this case. But so, and then also to have a person like her in this huge spotlight makes it so much better because we can see that any kind of person can change something. We don't have to be perfect. No one has to be perfect. So get this out of your
Yep.
way, you know?
Yeah.
So I love her. But whatever, if she's changing something or not, whatever.
Yeah, I love her
it's
too.
Just
She's
for,
great.
It's just for the reason that a lot of people don't like her. It's already great. But anyway, so this is like, how far can it go, right?
Yeah, I got you.
I
It
think,
can go really far.
Yeah.
I mean, and yeah, I suppose that we want to say that there's so many people. Like, for example, I listened to this Russian guy who's created the Ocean Cleanup Project.
Yeah.
So
Oh,
he's an engineer.
amazing.
He's an engineer, but so the ocean is a bigger problem. After they actually started working on that, they've started working on the river clean up machines,
yeah.
and apparently the river cleanup is actually easier engineering wise.
Oh, yeah.
So they basically now they're
Ah.
testing. They have machines on a couple of the heaviest polluting rivers in Southeast Asia, and these machines are able to take out tremendous amount of the trash.
Right.
Whereas the ocean project is so big because the ocean garbage patch, the Pacific Ocean garbage patch, is bigger than Texas. It's bigger than
Yeah.
many countries.
Oh, my God.
So they have a lot of
Yeah.
scaling up to do.
Yeah.
And things to be worked on there.
Right.
Anyway, but
I want
right.
to share one very fast, I know
Yeah.
it's a time, but one very fast story of what and how we can change. Like, thinking out of the box is the point here. So there's one woman who is now very, very famous in the US. She has been raped and went to court, and she went through all the rape kit and everything, whatever. And she did not get the case through court, so she was denied. And the police has not treated her correctly, and the rape kit got destroyed, everything. And she was like, what is wrong with this law system? So she looked into it and she said, like, you know what? If I don't get justice for my case, I'm going to go and change the law. So what she did was she just created this whole new case of changing laws on a state basis and then going on a national basis based on what happened to so many women and men and like so many people. And now she created a foundation to help other people do the same, which is a non-profit. But it's amazing. And she literally changed over 27 law bills already within, I think, 5 years or something. And usually it takes 15 years for one to go through.
Mhm.
So if you think you want to change something, don't stop at the small things. You can go change the freaking law. Like, everything is possible. Think outside of the box. Okay.
Yes. Okay. So should we wrap it up with our top 3 tips on how
Yes.
to integrate social impact
Yes.
into your daily life?
Yes, you go.
I'm always going first. It's
Yeah.
not fair. All right, I'll do it. Okay. Well, let's just say I've split it into sort of 3. I decided to answer it like this. So an individual example, a group example, and a company or organization
Perfect.
example. Okay. So like I've already given one individual example, using and talking about the fruit boxes. But yeah, when I go to restaurants, I refuse plastic straws and sort of like talk about this stuff again. Talk about this stuff.
Yeah.
And also, just do things like, I noticed that if you start to do this, the effect is that restaurant owners and restaurant staff remember that you don't want a straw. It takes a while. You have to like be a little bit persistent, and sometimes you get frustrated.
Over yellow.
Yeah.
Helps.
Yeah. So I thought, maybe I should. This is like was my plan, but I didn't do it. Maybe I should make a T-shirt saying, "I don't need a straw, thanks." This kind of thing.
Remember the one? No, thank you. I don't need a tuk-tuk suit and whatever. The T-shirts.
No.
Oh, there are tourist T-shirts that say like, "I don't need a tuk-tuk. I don't need a suit. I don't need whatever."
Okay.
It's like a joke, right? About like people always being asked for, do you want a tuk-tuk? Do you need a suit? So now we could make new T-shirts that say, I don't need a bag. I don't need a straw. I don't want a cup plastic cup, something
Yeah.
like this, you know?
Well, another one I was thinking of is you could like seek out electric tuk-tuks because they're getting more and more
Yeah.
popular.
Yeah,
But you can always support those
definitely.
guys. That's
Yeah,
a great
yeah.
thing.
100%.
Okay, so a group example. I was struggling more to think. Well, not struggling, but yeah. So I sort of thought of some groups. Like for example, a friend of mine has a sort of bicycle group, and then there are like skateboard groups, and yeah. So when you if you're a group and you're a bicycle group and you go to places, you have
Mhm.
like that much more impact
Mm-hmm.
because you're a whole group of people. You all arrive like this, and so many cafes around town, have like special offers just for bicycle
Mhm.
people.
Yeah.
They discount. There are like cafes and places that will discount if you arrive on a bicycle and this
Yeah.
kind of stuff.
Mhm.
And that was an example. Just a culture among friends that
Yeah.
you do this. You get around by bicycle or whatever sustainable way. Then organizational example. Well, I can remember this. Like when I was doing sort of furniture and export business, that you can have products. You can sort of design products with social and environmental consciousness in mind, and you can sort of you can give people the option, and you can also choose to promote those things more heavily. And if you're going to offer discounts to people, offer them in this way. I mean, I'm thinking in terms of an ordinary company, a for-profit business. You can still you can still have an ethical perspective and still try and steer people towards more environmentally and socially conscious products,
Yeah.
and this kind of thing.
Yeah.
And sort of try and build that up, until
Yeah.
hopefully eventually everything could be that way.
Right.
But there's a path, and then as a sort of partner to that idea, as I mentioned before, there are all sorts of sort of organizations, certification. You'd have to look into it, do some research, obviously as a company, but you could join an organization with a certification process
Mm.
to sort of hold you accountable to
Yeah.
your social and environmental goals.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah.
Okay, so my top 3, I'm going really fast. So number 1, I want to repeat that. Think outside the box. Start where you are going to be annoyed to. Okay, are all of these plastic bags annoying you, right? Or the cups, right? Then stop using them yourself, right? So this is number 1. Number 2, if you do have an own business or you do work with clients as a freelancer or you have a company or work within a company, try to implement a kind of like a commission-based or percentage-based or client-based giving back method. So per client, 1 to 5%, whatever, or per client $5 or whatever it is, right? Give back and then look for a charity or do microloans or whatever it is. And the third one really is don't wait. Just don't wait. Do it, like, start today with the things that are really important to you. You don't need to save the world today, and you don't need to do everything today. But if you start with one thing, whether it's animals, it's the environment, it's children, it's veganism in general, it's the air, it's whatever it is to you, choose that one thing and start.
Yeah,
And talk about it.
I like that. Well, and also one of the you definitely get something back that you don't always expect. For example, if you start to for example, if you picked up trash from an area, right?
Yeah.
And I've done this as part of like community city cleanups with Shane, and sometimes on my own. It's amazing. You feel a connection to that place.
Yes.
Such a connection.
Yeah.
You start to like notice it and appreciate the beauty of the place,
Yeah,
and
100%.
you get a lot out of it.
Right.
Really.
And if someone says something, like if someone makes a joke or there are naysayers or haters, just smile and wave. That's all you need to do.
Yeah, well, the naysayer at the fruit shop the other day, I got a kick out of that. I have to admit,
Smile and wave.
because I could tell it wasn't all bad. There's something going on. Yeah.
Yeah.
Smile and wave. Okay.
Do we have some more music before we need to go?
Well, we've got enough time for a song, so we could say goodbye.
Yeah.
Couldn't we?
Yeah.
Thanks everybody for listening. Hope you've enjoyed our talk on social impact and how you could incorporate into your personal life, your your business life or your any projects that you might want to work on. We could go a lot deeper into it, but I think we covered quite a lot as well. We'll actually be sorry.
Yeah.
What are you going to say?
I want to, exactly what you're about to say.
That we're going to be here tomorrow.
Yes.
Okay.
Surprise.
We don't know what we're going to. Tom's away.
Yeah.
So we're going to be filling in for Tom. We won't be talking legal matters because we're not qualified. So we will be talking something else, and we'll
let you know on Facebook.
Yeah. All right. So that's me and Mon here again tomorrow. See you tomorrow, and also I will be here with Lily on Sunday for the Jazz and Blues show.
All the goodness for you guys.
Okay. We'll leave you with a song called.
Yes.
Well, I think I'll play this Teddy Swims song. Okay, Teddy Swims, You Look So Good in Love. It's a George Strait cover. And we'll say goodnight. Thanks so much for listening.
Hi,
Oh, how you sparkle. Oh, how you shine. The flush on your cheeks is more than the wine. And he must do something that I didn't do. Whatever he's doing, it looks good on you. You look so good in love. You want him, it's easy to see. You look so good in love. And I wish you still wanted me. He must have stolen some stars from the sky and gave them to you to wear in your eyes. I had my chances, but I set you free. And now I wonder why I couldn't see. You look so good in love. You want him, it's easy to see. You look so
You've been listening to Relax Time Radio on Radio Thailand Chiang Mai.
Watch our live stream on YouTube and don't forget to subscribe to our channel.
.สถานีวิทยุกระจายเสียงแห่งประเทศไทยและเครือข่ายทั่วประเทศเสนอข่าวต้นชั่วโมงรู้เร็วรู้จริงเกาะติดทุกสถานการณ์